big gator just barely sticking his eyeballs and nose out there. Crows are chasing a juvenile bald eagle up that tree. I don't know how well this camera will pick it up, but that's a juvenile bald eagle. Well, hello internet. So I guess I can tell you why we're here. I'm on a mission. So several months ago, not far from where I am, well, where I'm headed to right now, exactly, a hiker, a woman, was bitten by an alligator. And I was very, very interested in that story because it happened in a place that I'm very familiar with, where I hike and run very, very regularly. And I actually reached out to the lady and sent her an email asking for an opportunity to interview her, really just to give her the opportunity to tell the entire story in her words without having to edit it down to a 1 or 2 minute clip on the local news. And if nothing else, to have that recorded as a resource for others. I think when these things happen, what we get from the media, and this is not necessarily a bash the media opportunity, but I mean, there's certainly deserved criticism here. But we'll get, the scary headline and whatever minimal information is available, and maybe at most there might be a follow-up story if the person's doing, their recovery is going well or something. But it's very rare that you get real detailed information, at least in my experience. So I reached out to her and asked her if she would either let me interview her, just turn a camera on, let her tell the story. We could do it over email, we could do it in video in person, we could do it by Zoom, and never heard anything, which is, that's fine. I mean, she doesn't know me and I'm not anybody. Well, then last week we went to a Christmas party for the hiking club that we're members of, and it turns out that she's a member of the same hiking club, and she was at the party. So got to have a conversation with her. She still declined, well, I guess formally declined to do an interview. She was very, very nice, very informative, and although she did not grant me an interview, and I'll refrain from using her name. It's obviously out there if you want to find it. I want to tell you a summary of what I got from the conversation and what I got from listening to the 911 call and reading the news stories about it, and kind of interspersed with what I know or what I think I know about this area and alligators in general. And I guess let me give the first of probably many caveats now. I have a high school diploma from a pretty terrible high school, and that is the extent of my formal education. But I've been around gators all my life. I'm not as experienced as some people. I don't, I've never gone out and wrestled them or hunted them or anything, but I've been around them a lot. And I've done a lot of reading. So for what that's worth. But none of that is why I'm here right now. The reason I'm here right now is at that party, the person who had been bitten shared that she had lost her Swiss Army knife in the attack. She was opening a Christmas gift. It was one of those stupid white elephant gift exchange things. I say stupid, I hate those things. But she used a Swiss Army knife to open a stubborn piece of tape, and she mentioned that she had to buy that new knife because she lost her previous one in the attack. Well, I know right where to look. I got a metal detector with me that I bought just for this occasion, and I am on a mission to go and find her knife and return it to her. So that's the goal. While we're out here, we'll talk about the attack and go for a nice little hike. So one of the things I wanted to talk about this particular attack is the leaping to conclusions that a lot of people are guilty of, including me. As soon as I heard that there was an attack, well, let me back up. The place where this attack occurred is a very popular hiking trail here that is most notable for the large number of alligators one encounters on the trail in very close proximity. I mean, literally, there are times when you have to, I won't say literally step over, but you may have to step over the end of a tail, which is not exactly safe. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay, buddy. You're okay. Just be prepared to move fast if you have to, and keep a stick between you and him.
Holy shit, is he big.
Good job, buddy. Okay, see you, Chad. People encounter alligators on this trail all the time. And not to blow my own horn, but I've been saying for years, it's just a matter of time before somebody gets bitten there. Didn't happen quite the way I expected it to. Oddly, this trail allows dogs. They're not recommended. It's not recommended that you walk your dog, but it's not banned. I personally think it should be banned. I'm not a big fan of banning things, but there is no good reason to bring a dog on that trail. And I kind of figured the first attack would either be on a dog or someone with a dog trying to protect their dog. Having been on that trail a lot, seen a lot of people doing a lot of different things, when I heard that there was an attack, my first assumption was that it was someone wearing earbuds, paying no attention to what they were doing. The first reports were that it was somebody who'd stepped on an alligator. That was in the very earliest reporting. So I figured, okay, somebody was wearing their earbuds, not paying attention, and just stepped on one that maybe the nose was sticking out of the trail or something, or out of the bushes on the side of the trail. I think a lot of the times we do this kind of a self-protective measure, like, oh, well, somebody got bit by an alligator on the trail that I hike or run regularly with alligators, but that was because they were stupid. So we all do it, and I've had many conversations with people about this event, and everyone assumes, everybody I've talked to just assumes, oh, they must have done something really dumb or not been paying attention or something. Some idiot doesn't know where they are, doesn't know what they're doing. So as it turns out, the person who was bitten is an extremely experienced hiker, very, very competent outdoors person. So not wearing earbuds, not by herself. She had friends with her. And again, I'm going to try not to directly quote her or talk about specifics of what she told me any more than I have to, but I did hear her say that the mistake that she made, and I think it's important that people know this, is that she didn't have a stick with her. The reason a stick is important is, I'm skipping ahead a bit, but this incident happened when she stepped into some water, which is another controversial topic about this. And had she had a stick, she would have poked around in the water ahead of her to spook any animals that might have been in there. There's some scat there that I guess it could be coyote, could be panther maybe. I'm not super good at identifying scat, but either one of those things could be out here. So if she had a stick, she could have poked in the water. That probably would have done the same thing that her foot eventually did and startled the alligator. And I mean, it might have even have bitten her stick. It might have still even attacked her, although I think that's a lot less likely if she properly used the stick. But she didn't have a stick. So that was probably the biggest mistake. Now, having said that, when I run out here, I don't usually have hiking poles with me, so I could see myself in the same situation. So we'll talk about the water, I guess, because that's the other big thing. The next thing that came out in the early reporting was that she stepped on the alligator when she stepped into the water. And of course, everyone, and I will include myself to some extent, immediately thought, what in the heck was she doing going into the water? Well, this trail I'm walking on right now, I've walked it when the entire trail was underwater, like literally seeing fish in this trail. We live in a swamp, so certain times of year, if you go outside, if you go onto any trails, you are going to encounter places where you may have to cross some water or you have to not go on the trail. And for some of you right now, I can hear you. You're like, well, that's easy. Just don't go out there. Okay. Hiking on this trail when it's flooded, this particular section where I am, is probably perfectly safe. I mean, there's bears and panthers out here now, so there's always some danger in being in the outdoors. But the chances of encountering an alligator on this trail, even when it's flooded, are pretty low. It's not the kind of place where they're going to congregate or hang out. Obviously, it's worth watching your step, but you'll see the spot where this happened. But the main thing is that it is basically a ditch that separates this property that I'm on, this preserve, from the next preserve over. And they've got two trails now that connect this property to that property. And in order to get from this one to the other one, you have to cross over what is essentially a ditch. And during dry periods of the year, not a problem. And even now, like when we get there, I'm expecting it to be ankle deep, maybe. Shouldn't be an issue. But I think it was maybe knee to thigh deep that day. And I'll give you a little personal aside. About a week before this attack took place, I came out here to run. And we hadn't had rain in a while. So I thought I was going to run out to the other trail. And there's a kind of a loop you can make. And I was going to make that loop. And as I got closer and started getting wetter and wetter, I was like, well, there's no way I'm crossing over there. It's going to be too deep and there's too many alligators there, so I'm not going through there. And then a week later, somebody got bitten doing exactly that. So, but the main thing, I guess, that I'm trying to get to slowly but surely is the lady who got bit didn't do anything dumber than go outside. And they were doing a wet hike. They were intentionally walking on wet trails, which is not particularly uncommon. I would definitely do it. Had I been invited on that hike, I would have gone. I might have wanted to poke the water with a stick before I went in. But, so, anyway, I'm going to keep hiking, get to the location where this happened, and we'll talk more about it. I was out here a couple of weeks ago on a trail run with friends, and you saw these bottles, and we're bemoaning the fact that we didn't have any way to carry them out. I don't have that excuse today. So this is called the Flint Pin Strand preserve area. It's all part of the Corkscrew Regional Environmental Watershed. Several preserve properties around here with trails and stuff. And Flint Pin borders Crew Bird Rookery Swamp. And currently, the one and only access point from the parking lot of Crew Bird Rookery is closed for the next several months. It starts with a boardwalk close to the beginning that you have to go down, and that boardwalk is in desperate need of replacement. So I won't be encountering anybody on that trail, which is typically much busier than this trail. So I'm probably going to be the only idiot out here. Which raises one other point. There seemed to be some confusion in the 911 call from one of the hikers that was with the hiker who got bitten. I believe the person who was calling may have been the least experienced in this area, or not been here before. And there's a cautionary tale here. So he kept saying they were at Flint Pen, which kind of sort of technically they were, but at the time the incident happened, it would probably be easier to explain to someone that they were at Bird Rookery. And it's complicated. The point being, though, if you're taking someone out in the woods who is less experienced than you, it's probably really important to make sure that they understand where they are and how to guide assistance to, I know this area very, very well, so it would be relatively easy for me to tell emergency personnel where I am. But if I brought somebody out here who'd never been here before and then I was rendered unconscious, would they be able to tell somebody where they are? So anyway, all right, I think we're under a mile to our destination. All right, we've made it. So my understanding is that the group of hikers stopped up there, came into the water here, and like 15 to 20 feet in is where the attack happened. And my hope is that the knife fell somewhere very close by and has just been there the whole time. This water doesn't move real fast. It's not like a flowing river, it's rain. Part of me kind of hopes I'll just see it and not even have to get the metal detector down, but I did buy it just for this purpose. So we're going to look around real carefully. Obviously this water is very shallow now, so we would see any sizable alligator. I threw that stick in the water a couple weeks ago and it's still sitting right there, so that's a good sign. So, and the issue here is you see there's, water going this way, and that is the direction where the water continues to grow, and there are some huge alligators in this canal. But right now the water level is sufficiently low. I think we're completely safe. We'll just be careful anyway. So I'm gonna look around for a little bit and then I'll get the metal detector out and start the search in earnest. And this is the Bird Rookery Trail. Nice and mowed right now, which is kind of ironic since the trail is closed. So we're here. We started here. So we walked here, 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 and here. No, is that right? Yeah. Yeah, and then all that. So maybe we'll go back to the other purple trail when we leave. But first, let's find this knife. Well, found the mosquitoes. I don't think this could have gotten buried very deeply. That's what I was excited about. Piece of aluminum can. I've never used a metal detector. I understand that there are different settings that will eliminate certain things. I don't expect there to be a lot of stuff here, so I'm trying to go as wide open as possible, even if that means some false positives. But all right, I'll keep looking. Well, the good news is feared I might just come out here and see the stupid thing immediately and wasted $80 on a metal detector. But that does not appear to be the case. Alright, I expanded my search out of the water, and I got a really strong signal here. It occurred to me that the knife could have fallen out of her pocket at any time, not just during the immediate attack. So it could be up here where, so I think they dragged her out over this way somewhere. That was a strong signal. And again, I would not expect it to be deep in the ground. It's a can. Oh well. Well, metal detector works for finding aluminum cans. That has been established. Just want to say I appreciate all you dickheads who can't bring your cans out with you if you're going to come out here and drink. Well, to be honest, I was hoping I would find that thing pretty quickly, but I've searched the whole area. I think I'm going to take a break, eat some lunch, and go back in for another try. If it's here, I really want to find it. What'll be frustrating is if somebody found it the day after this happened or something, sitting on the middle of the trail, and this is all for nothing. But it's not a bad way to spend a day anyway. But anyway, all right, I'm gonna eat lunch. I'll get back to it. All right, so as I understand the story, they hiked from somewhere. This is where I parked and hiked. They hiked from somewhere over here, maybe the same spot, and then they came out on this purple trail to here, which is the crossover that's south of us, and then up to here, which is where I am now, and is when they started to enter the trail here that the attack took place. So I'm trying to think about this reasonably here, or logically, I guess. I think the first bite was to her right leg. She said it was 15 or 20 feet in, but there was a lot more water. So I'm not sure exactly if she means from the trail. I'm assuming from the actual trail. So I mean, that would be right around here. And if it came from, or if it attacked her right leg, then I'm assuming it would have been right around here, which makes some sense. Definitely would have been enough water for a gator to be laying up in here. So I'm going to really search this area real good. I've searched it already a couple of times, but I'm going to try again and really concentrate on that. And then if that doesn't yield the result I want, then I'm just going to have to hike out of here unsuccessfully, I guess. So, wish me luck. A huge otter just swam through here. Hey, buddy. What are you doing? Just don't come over here, please. Go back through there. And circle around again. So I've seen an otter kill an alligator. And something just hit them. I think these are otters fighting. Oh, there's one. Yep, otters fighting. All right, well that's super fun. Okay. Coincidentally, really coincidentally, I'm giving up. I have searched every square inch of this place and I can't find this knife, so I may try to come out again when the water is gone. Must look like there's another otter down there. I may come back when the water level is lower again, maybe in a couple of weeks. But for now, I think it's time to get out of here. Hi, little fella. Nope, I'm just gonna cross here. And even though it's shallow and I'm reasonably confident, I'm gonna be careful. For the record, this is where I thought the attack took place. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. So I guess I'm glad I talked to the lady and found out exactly where it happened. If I'd heard about the missing knife some other way, I probably would have looked here for hours for no reason. Been out here for 4 hours. Well, since I left the truck, 4 hours and 41 minutes. To collect a few aluminum cans. Well, this is not the outcome that I was hoping for. Obviously I wanted to find the knife. I guess what I've established is it's not just sitting in the middle of the trail waiting to be picked up. If it were, somebody already picked it up. So I may reach out and see if the person in question would be willing to maybe narrow down some possible search criteria to possibly make it more findable. It's possible that it's just gone, but I'm not going to rule out the possibility that I'll try again. It would be nice if I knew where the actual struggle took place, where the other two people were helping her to extricate herself from the alligator. And I'd love to know exactly where that took place, and I'd love to know when they did get her free from the alligator, where did they sit on the trail, or did they, render first aid and stuff, because that could be a good search location too. I searched everywhere that I could, logically guess, but who knows if I was right. So anyway, well, much ado about nothing, but if you've stuck around this long, thanks for joining me on what, while unsuccessful, was still a nice adventure. I have a feeling I'll probably use this metal detector more. I literally bought it just to do this, but now that I own it, I don't think I can return it after I've been dragging it through swamp water. So maybe I'll find something else to look for. Anyway, like, subscribe, all that crap. See you next time.